Thank you. Thank you very much for a kind introduction, Namra, and good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'm very pleased to be here. This is a wonderful opportunity to come back to Norway. The first time I came to Norway was in 2004 when I came to the Red Cross Nordic United World College. Back then, I chose to come to Norway primarily because it was most different from Sierra Leone, particularly in the food and the weather. But I spent 2 wonderful years here, and those 2 years are exactly why I'm here again, because it transformed my life fundamentally. And today I'll be talking about how we are enabling the generation of young makers in Sierra Leone. By day, I'm a PhD student at the MIT Media Lab. And the Media Lab is a wonderful institution where the future is created in technology. We literally make products that exist 5 years from now. And more specifically, I design prosthetic devices. And the goal of my research is to think about how do we create comfortable prosthetic sockets for amputees. Now, it does not matter whether you are in the US, like my professor who's a double amputee, or you're in Norway or Sierra Leone, the interface for the human body is very uncomfortable. And I chose to focus on this because I love bioengineering, which I learned about fundamentally at Norway at first, but also because I come from Sierra Leone, where there are lots of amputees. And I wanted to create a product that had the global value. And I would go home all the time. But in this process of going home, back and forth, it became clear that I was part of a problem I was trying to solve. Even though I'm from Sierra Leone, I had left, came to Norway, and then went to Harvard, and now at MIT, I had left. I was foreign, and I was bringing in a product back home. And the problem was that by bringing a solution, I was creating a dependency on external factors. Now, when I create prosthetic devices and the solutions that I do, there's a lot of joy. I am very pleased about all of this, and I learn in that process. And in fact, one of the ways we learn and create new products at the Media Lab is by making actively. So I get the joy, I get the learning. But when I bring products, I only bring a solution, not the enabling capability, the creativity. And so I was very frustrated by this. This is an image just outside my house. You walk outside, that's what you see. It's an array of posters that literally tell the people in my community that don't worry about it, all these institutions will come and solve your problem for you. And what that does is it takes away your ability and the confidence in being able to deliver products for yourself, this low self-efficacy. And I grew up in Sierra Leone before I came to Norway. It was my first time leaving my country. 3 of my closest friends who ended up staying in Sierra Leone was among the smartest people that I know, all engineers, trained in Sierra Leone, got the best results. And when I have a conversation with them, we talk about the problems in Sierra Leone a lot. But the minute we start talking about the solutions, they fade away because they do not think that they are capable to solve those problems. They're highly successful, absolutely smart. But to them, success means working for some NGO. Success means waiting for somebody who's left to come back to solve their problem. And so I decided to do something about this. And I did not want to be part of the problem anymore. And so we launched Innovate Salon. Salon is Creole for Sierra Leone. And at the MAKEM is a high school innovation challenge that focuses on making and creativity and the learning from making. We asked high school students all across the country to tell us what the problems were they had in their community, how they wanted to solve those challenges. what were the limitations to the challenges and the solutions that they thought. And in return, we gave them cash to develop prototypes. We gave them connection and mentorship with my network from MIT and the diaspora from Sierra Leone and local Sierra Leoneans. And then we give them a network so that they can engage with each other and peer and learn peer-to-peer. 1 month after we started this, we had 300 students submit about 72 ideas. And we evaluated those based on impact, creativity, and innovation. And we chose 8 finalists that we worked with. Now, the thing is, when you make, you learn. When you learn, you make more. And when you share your ideas about what you've made, you're proud and confident. And this here is Raven. She's a wonderful young girl in Detroit in the maker space. She loves soldering, and she could spend all day teaching old and young how to solder, and she can deconstruct the touch that she has and remake it. And she's happy and confident, and it doesn't matter what else she's doing because she's a teacher and she's a doer. And so we wanted to amplify this in Sierra Leone. Clearly, it makes sense that we focus on young people. This is why we're all here today, and that's what drives most of the work that we do. And these young people in Sierra Leone, they are closest to the problem. They understand the problems, they understand the solutions, and the limitations to those solutions that might exist. And so we wanted to tap into that proximity to both the problems and to the limitations of the solutions that they have. And as I told you, we encourage prototyping. So the broom, the image on your right, is the broom I grew up using as the youngest person in my house. I did 2 things. One was I washed all the dishes, and secondly, I had a sweep. I hated sweeping. But I never questioned the broom. It was frustrating. The rope on that broom would break, and I have to fix it. I had to bow down and sweep, and the dust would come up into my nose. I never questioned it. 2 kids who applied to a program decided that they didn't want to do this anymore. And so that was the drawing of what they call an electronic broom. We all know what that could be in this part of the world. And we gave them an opportunity. 3 months later, they had a prototype. They did learn the hard way that you have to insulate the metal if you're playing with electricity. But they have a working prototype. And now they're at the stage where they are engaging with a manufacturing group from Sierra Leone to provide this. Have more than 1, 2, 3 prototypes and see how people respond to it. We also brought together these group of students to an innovation camp where they present their prototypes, they self-critique each other, and we help them develop the new versions of their prototypes. And in fact, they had so much fun. This was the first time many of them had left their communities. And they got presentations from people from UNICEF to focus on monitoring and evaluation, from private sector people to talk about private funds, and from the university group. But primarily, it was a moment for them to just be youth, to just be children, and to just create and not be limited by whatever else that was in their community and around them, not by their school, not by their parents. I told you that we had 8 teams that we'd funded last year who were our finalists. By the way, of all the 72 applications that we got, we gave feedback to all of them, and we supported 8 of them. Here's a great story from one of our finalists. If you followed the war in Sierra Leone, Magbeni is a place where literally the last gunshots were fired because the British came in to free one of their guys. And there's a school in Magbeni that's NGO supported, but it's a wonderful school. But their school feeding program was going to be cut because there was no finance. And the students and their teachers decided that wanted to continue to feed themselves and not be dependent on anybody else through this through Innovate Salon. And they met with the chief, got the farmland from somebody, one of their parents. The community members came together and helped them cultivate the farm. Many months later, they were able to grow peanuts and sell a lot of the extra peanuts to buy beans, and they grew pepper, which they used to feed themselves. Today, they've expanded that, and they now have a farm where they're growing rice and cassava. The teachers use the farm to teach the students about agriculture, which is a compulsory subject. They're having hands-on learning, and they can also use that to feed themselves. This other team is from Kenya. Susan is one of the leaders of the team. She learned how to weave when she was 2, 3, at the elbows of her grandmother in her village. And when she moved to the city, many years later, she's frustrated by the fact that she's forced to buy clothes that are imported, and the dye that she might use to do batik is also imported. She can't afford it. She loves her culture, and so she decides to put together a team that's looking at how do you source local dye from trees and from plants in the community, and how do you then weave and create beautiful, fashionable products. I myself like fashion a lot. This clothes was designed in my shop. I own a shop, and it's absolutely lovely when you can design your own clothes and be proud to wear them. So Susan represents that. Mohammed is one of my mentees. He's a wonderful character. He wasn't a finalist last year. He just applied this year now. And Mohammed took MIT classes online, taught himself robotics and design, classes that I have not taken and I don't even intend to take. And he was able to build his own homemade robots that can move, grab, and it's a wonderful lesson for him. Now, we've done a lot this past year, and we are going on again for a second round this year. We are expecting about 100 applications in, and we have expanded. In fact, my roommate, Jacob Lenheden from Denmark, when I was in Norway at RCN Flekker, is now in Kenya, and he's leading Innovate Kenya. We are also expanding to Cape Town, and we're doing Innovate the Cape. So we are growing internationally. Now, we've been able to show all these opportunities that exist for young people to make. We've given them the opportunities and we've enabled them. Now, we're really looking for partners and people to help us to create spaces that will spur and enable this innovation. So I hope you all will connect. And if you have ideas, we look forward to hearing your ideas and using your networks and the mentors that you may have access to help amplify this effort. Clearly, it's wonderful to share local and inspirational stories. And in fact, one of our students, there's a YouTube video about him that's been viewed about 4.5 million times. And there's a really interesting story where I was in the subway in New York at like midnight, and the MTA worker walks up to me and goes, "Are you from Sierra Leone?" And I said, yes, why? So, oh, I saw the video about Kelvin, the kid who made his own FM radio station. Is that all you do in Sierra Leone? Is there so many young people who create and make stuff? That's wonderful. I hope someday we'll get there. And so my vision really, ladies and gentlemen, is that I want to see every young person in Sierra Leone have an opportunity to create solutions to the challenges that they face. It will make all our lives easier, and I'm sure we'll have a better world. Thank you very much.